When someone you love dies, special occasions like Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, New Year's, occasions that were once very joyous, celebrated, they're often a trigger for our grief. They set off the grief because the person that we love is not here with us. Our life is different, the day will be different, and it's a constant reminder of our journey and the emptiness of not having them here with us. This is a huge problem for grievers because it becomes a day, an event that we dread, that we can fear. We can worry about them sometimes weeks in advance because we know it's going to trigger our grief. We know it's going to hurt, and we know it's going to raise that loss within us. We know it's going to make us just miss them more. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a whole heap of tips, tools, strategies, ideas to help you honor yourself and honor your loved one on these occasions so that you can show up feeling more empowered, feeling more in control, and setting yourself up for success for what would otherwise be a really tough time. So let's get into it, shall we? Hi, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Christy Roberts. I'm a mindset and results coach, self-directed healing practitioner, and the founder of Creating Change in Our Lives. In March 2020, my 18-year-old son Aaron was in a car accident and he tragically died on scene. So in the blink of an eye, just like that, my life changed forever. I'm a grief educator working with David Kessler, and I'm very passionate about sharing my knowledge about grief and my coaching skills to really help people shift through these deep, dark times and help them through that journey of grief. This is a beautiful way that I can honor my son Aaron moving forward. First of all, culturally, there is an expectation that you'll show up, that you'll be happy, that you'll celebrate, because that's what you've always done. So please understand you have free will. And you might decide it's too hard to show up. You might choose not to show up. It's totally up to you how you participate in these occasions, and that needs to be okay. It's really helpful as a strategy to try to remove any expectation of how you're going to show up on the day. Don't presuppose how you're going to be on the day, because it may be that you worry about the day for weeks in advance, and then on the day you might actually feel fine. You might get through it and really surprise yourself. Or you might not worry about it at all, and then on the day you might find a lot of grief comes up for you. You could be very emotional, you could swing between emotions, you may have anger, grief, you could just be numb. Just know that this is all normal. Whatever you're feeling in grief, our emotions swing. I often refer to it as waves. You know, we have peaks, we have troughs, and they do come and they go. So just honor whatever it is you're feeling and just allow that to be okay. It can be useful to have an exit strategy. So before you arrive or on the day when you arrive, you can let people know, oh, I don't have much time, I'm only staying for a little while. And then if you stay longer, they're surprised, like it's up to you. You can leave whenever you want. And remember, no. No is a complete sentence. It's fine to say no. So when people invite you over, you can say, no, thank you. That can be enough. And they might say to you, oh, but your loved one will want us to be together. And you can just say, I understand, no, thank you. You don't have to explain yourself to people. If you don't want to go, it is actually okay to say no. You're not obliged to go. You're obliged to honor how you feel. They might then say, but we hate the idea of you being alone. I understand. Thank you. No, not today. Give your grief some time. In the weeks preceding my son's birthday, I spent a lot of time working on my grief. I did self-directed healing sessions, I did coaching sessions, I wrote, I walked, I cried. I really connected with my grief and how much I missed my son. And because I did all that work, I really feel that it made a difference to how I showed up on the actual day. So I was really proud of how I was able to show up and honour him on the days. That can be very useful. Set yourself up for success. It can be really useful to plan to do something in advance. This is a strategy that I use all the time, and it really helps me in my grief. So, for example, if your spouse died, on Valentine's Day, reach out in advance to connect with a friend. On Mother's Day, my daughter and my mum and I worked together for a couple of weeks in advance looking for something that we could do, that we all wanted to do, that we could all cope with, and we ended up going to a historical homestead for lunch, and it was a beautiful way to celebrate. Of course we missed Aaron, but it was a beautiful way to be together and do something, get me out of the house, and honour him and honour ourselves as well. Surround yourself with love. Be around people you love and people who love you. Really reach out, make this happen. There's no way that we're ever forgetting our loved ones, so it can be really powerful to incorporate them into the event. So bring your grief with you, with no apologies. And that can look different for different people because different things will work for us. But just know, if you're emotional and you have a meltdown, that's okay. If you don't want to talk or don't want to go somewhere, that's okay. If you want to talk, if you want to honour them, if you want to bring out photos, that's okay too. You do what works for you. If we don't want to talk, then don't push us. Just be with us. Just be open to whatever comes up and just show up and just go with that. We are not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We are grieving. So finding ways to honour our loved one, visit the gravesite or the accident site. Look at some photos, share photos, donate to a cause in their honour. You can pray for them. You can be open to the idea of setting an extra place at the table. You could light a candle in their honour. You could have a present for them under the Christmas tree or for their birthday. You can create a ritual around sharing stories. You can share stories about how much you miss them, or you can share stories about joyful, funny things that they did. It doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong with this stuff. But reminiscing and creating rituals around this can be very, very supportive in grief. You might like to put some photos in frames and have them all around the place. You might decide that a traditional meal's too much. You might go for something frozen. Like, it actually doesn't matter. I know that I like to cook meals that Aaron liked. So we have spaghetti bolognese nights, and he loved fairy bread, so I intend to do events with fairy bread in the future, and sausage sizzles, and it doesn't matter what it is, but their favourite food, their favourite things, you can bring that into your event and embrace that and connect in that way. Grief in families, it can be complex because different members of your family will grieve differently and different events will trigger them. And so you might find, for example, some members, they want to come together. They desperately need that togetherness and that connection in their grief. And you might find that other members don't want to come together because it's too painful and it reminds them and triggers them too much. So putting up a Christmas tree can be a trigger. It can be painful. This is about exploring what works for everybody and really having communication. It's important to understand what everybody wants and then coming up with rituals or new ways of doing things that actually help everybody be heard, feel heard, and respected in their own grief. So how can we do this in a way that it meets the needs of everybody? And just work and have that conversation until you get there. And please remember the children, because children are often the forgotten grievers, and it's really important that they're included in this discussion as well. You create the rules. Traditions can be changed. Rituals can be created. This is a fabulous opportunity to create new rituals that bring your loved one and incorporate your loved one into the occasion with you. And make sure you're looking after yourself. exercise, eat healthy foods. If you find yourself falling into your grief and really getting stuck there, please reach out for support. Get therapy, get counseling, get coaching, get self-directed healing. There are people out there like myself that do this work. So please reach out. You're not alone. If you want to get a massage, get a massage. If you need to meditate, walk, whatever it is, please look after yourself. If you are reaching out for support, please check in and make sure they are grief informed. Because I know from my years of experience and training practitioners that there are many, many healers, modalities, therapists, counselors, psychologists that do not understand grief. This is very important that you're working with somebody, if you're getting professional support, that actually understands grief. At the end of the day, the reality is we're entitled to feel however we feel. It's your grief. It's my grief. It's nobody else's. It's mine alone. It's yours alone. So however I feel, however you feel, that's okay. It is what it is. So honor yourself, cherish yourself, love yourself enough to feel what you need to feel fully. Do what you need to do. Be who you need to be. And be comfortable in those choices. Please don't judge your grief. If you're having trouble, reach out. I trust you gain value from this video, and I know beyond a doubt that our loved ones would want us to be looking after ourselves without exception. Without exception. So I trust you gain value from this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, share. Sharing is a really powerful way that we can honor our grief, honor our loved one, but help other people who need support as well. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look forward to sharing more content with you in the future. Much love to you all, and in remembrance to our loved ones.